welcome to another video. I'm gonna start doing story times and stuff, so this is kind of the first story that I'm gonna tell. It's a good one in my opinion. I think it's pretty good. So, leave a like if you enjoy, and yeah, here we go. So it all started off as a normal day. I woke up, took a shower, and then at like noon, I got a text from my friend Austin, and he's like, "Yo, can I come over?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure, we can chill, do whatever." And my buddy Andy was at work, and he's like, "I'm getting off at 7. Y'all want to hang and drive around?" And we're both like, "Yeah, that'd be pretty lit." So he gets off work, and he picks us up, and we go driving around, and we get into town. And this is around like 8. We kind of were there for a while. So we went to a park on one side of town, and it wasn't like curfew at this point. We were out before curfew, and we're just sitting there talking, looking at the stars and stuff, being dumbasses. So we're sitting there, and we're sitting there, and like we're trying to get down, and so we're trying to get down, and then so they get down, and I'm being a pussy. I don't want to jump down. I'm scared of heights. This shit was scaring me. We're on top of like this like utility shed thing that's like 10 or so feet off the ground. So I'm sitting here. I'm like, "No, homies, I ain't jumping off. You're fucking funny." Like, I didn't even want to climb up in the first place, but they fucking made me. So, and I'm like, "Boys, I don't know if I can get down from here. Like, it's too high." And they're like, "You're being a pussy. Just jump down." And then Andy's like watching out for cops, and we see a black and white car roll around the bend that's kind of in front of this park, like the main highway. And I kid you not, she looks at us, turns on her spotlight, instantly turns into the lot. I'm like, "Boys, we're fucked." It's like right after curfew at this point. We know she's gonna talk to us and be like, "You guys are out here too late. What are you doing? Climbing on a shed?" You know, she's not just gonna be passive about it. We're being dumb, right? So Andy sees the cop, and he just fucking bolts. He doesn't give a shit about me or Austin. He just leaves. Austin's like, "Fuck, I don't really know what to do. I don't really want to stay here and talk to the cop," because, like, he doesn't like getting in trouble and shit. So he bolted, and I do the dumbest shit you're ever going to hear in your entire life. I climb on top of the shed. I'm like halfway through getting down. I don't know why, but I just boosted myself back up, and I just got a running start, and I jumped the fuck off. And I landed straight on my right ankle, just on my ankle, nothing else. And I kind of fell, and I felt it like snap and rotate out of place, and I knew I was fucked. And you know when you get like hurt or something, and you're sitting in that like dazed kind of state or whatever? So I'm sitting there, and she gets out of her car, and Andy and Austin are already fucking gone. Andy's already in the woods, and Austin ran to a nearby house. And so I'm like, I can't really just stay in here because she's running at me with her taser and shit. And I'm like, I'm not just going to fucking stay in here for you to fucking tase me. I'm not going to do that. So after I get out of this like dazed kind of feeling, I'm like, alright, I need to stand up and fucking go. You know? And so I stood up and I start running. And I see Austin like poke his head around like the fence. And I'm like, alright. So, and he's like, "Come here, fat boy, like, let's go, we need to get out of here." And I'm like, "Yeah, you're right, let's go." And then he's like, "Alright, I think, like, we should split up." And I'm like, "Yeah, that's probably a good idea, just in case she does find us, we won't both get caught." So he runs to the trail, and he starts, you know, walking back to his house. And I go the opposite direction. I go into the trailer park that's on the other side of the street. And I'm just, like, sitting here waiting. And then I see a cop pull into the, I see a cop pull up into the trailer park, and he sees me. I know he sees me because he turned off his lights, and he like turned down his flash or his spotlight on his car, and he started like driving down the road towards me. And I just fucking bolted. I'm like, "No, today is not this day. I don't want to get caught." And I'm like, "But if I am gonna get caught, I might as well just try and get away." So I was running, and I saw him turn down the road like right in front of me, and saw that he was like gonna be coming towards me kinda. So I'm like, "Alright, let me just I didn't really know what to do. I'm like, let me just duck, I guess, and see if that works. Now, I'm sitting over here thinking it's not gonna work, and he pulls up like right in front of me. He gets like, no lie, within 10 feet of me, and he doesn't see me, and he just leaves. Like, he just gets in his car and leaves. And I'm like, I'm the luckiest person alive. Like, how did he not see me? You know what I'm saying? And so I'm like, all right, I'm gonna take this moment and I'm gonna just leave. So I just start running, you know? I'm running. And I get to this like woods type of place. Like, it was like a woods and the road was like the other way. But I saw a cop coming down the road, so I ran into the woods. And I thought for sure that he saw me because I saw him and then he started slowing down, so I thought he saw me. So I ran into these woods and I'm sitting here waiting. I'm like, he's gonna, like, he's coming. Like, I'm not dumb. Like, he's about to be here, and I'm gonna be fucked. Like, I'm screwed. And he just keeps driving, and I'm sitting in this forest for no lie, like 2 hours. I got there like 2, like, in the morning, and I left at 4. And I didn't have service. Like, my phone was about to die. I didn't have service at this point. So I went to the local BK because I was like close to it. I'm like, maybe their Wi-Fi will still be up, even though it's 4 in the fucking morning. I don't know what the fuck I was thinking. Their Wi-Fi wasn't on, right? Of course, because it's 4 in the fucking morning. What Wi-Fi is gonna be on at a restaurant that's closed at 4 in the morning? You know, I didn't really use my brain. So I get there, I see that there's no Wi-Fi, so I'm like, fine, I'll just take the trail towards my house. It's only like a couple miles. I'm like, I can get there within like an hour. I'll be chilling. And I'm like, so I start walking down this trail, and I started making it down, and I get like a mile and a half from my house, not even, right? And I see headlights turn onto the trail that I'm walking on, and I'm like, there's no doubt in my mind, that's a cop. Like, she caught me. I'm fucked. And then I see her brights turn on, and then the spotlight, and I'm like, yep, it's a cop. I'm done. So I kept walking. I was gonna walk by her and act like nothing was the issue. And she's like, so were you the one that was running from me earlier? And I'm like, no. And she's like, well, you kind of look like him. And she's like, you seem to be limping, and I know he hurt his ankle. And I'm like, no, it's not me. I don't know what you're talking about. And she's like, all right, well, your friend's already admitted to knowing you. I talked to your dad and your sister. Your dad wants you to go to jail. Your sister doesn't. Your sister convinced your dad to bail you out. So he told me to just take you home. So are you going to continue to lie to me, like, about not knowing them? And I'm like, I'm not a snitch. I don't know what you're telling me is true or not. So yeah, I am going to continue to lie to you. And she's like, wow. And she turned, and I already knew this was coming. And I'm like, it's fine, she's just gonna take me home, and if she does take me to jail, I really don't care. I'm not snitching on my boys. So I'm just sitting here. I'm all scared because I'm like, I really don't want to go to jail, but if I do, I do. I really don't care. So that was that. And then it's like, I got home. She dropped me off. She's like, don't do that dumb shit again. I'm like, fuck you, just because I was being a fucking idiot, and I was kind of pissed that I got caught. Me being me. So I'm like, fuck you, like, go fuck yourself. Like, I'm not taking your advice, being just a fucking idiot. And I called up Austin after that, and he's like, yeah, bro, Andy fucking snitched on me too. Like, he went back to go and get his car, and he was just fucking, like, he just snitched on both of us. I'm like, what, are you fucking serious? And he's like, yeah, bro, dead. And I'm like, so, like, I called, or we didn't hear from him for the rest of the night. And I'm like, this dick, like, he's just gonna snitch on me and leave. But then we got a hold of him, and he's like, there was really nothing I could do. Like, you know, like, they said they were gonna take me in, and I'm like, you're dumb. Like, they literally can't take you in, my guy. They literally can't. Like, they didn't have any probable cause. You have Fifth Amendment rights. And I ain't even gonna lie, this kid's dumb. He looked at me and goes, what's the Fifth Amendment? So I took a screenshot of that shit, and I sent it to him. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you don't have to say shit, right? And he's like, damn, I didn't know that. I'm like, dude, you're literally dumb. How did you not know that? Like, but anyway, moral of the story time is, don't run from cops, and don't run from cops, and don't snitch on your boys. But that's about all the time I got for this video, so if you liked it, leave a like, and I'll hit you with the next one in a little while. Peace.